feel like someone's watching you or following you? You ever know for a fact that someone is watching or following you, like you can actually fucking see them and they're not trying to hide it at all? Well, that's kind of how this day went. This was actually less than a year ago. I want to say maybe half a year tops. When I was hanging out with Andy and Brandon. Hanging out back in my old neighborhood before I moved. Recently, Brandon and I found this new spot called the Master Den. Well, I found it, but me and him were the only ones that knew about it. I can't describe it too vividly on the off chance that someone else might find it, but it's really cool. But me, Andy, and Brandon all head there one afternoon. And we walk through this clearing where the only house nearby is like 20 or 30 feet away. We always take this clearing when we go back to the Bramble straight from the corner store. This time when we walk through the clearing, this crotchety ass old black dude, okay, I'm being a dick. He wasn't that old, but he was well past the halfway mark, the whole being 100. He was probably between his mid to late 50s and early 60s. This dude is legitimately sitting in his truck in his yard. Like he's seen us walk through the clearing before and he's waiting for us. As we're walking through, this motherfucker honks at us. And we all look back like, what the fuck? You know what? Benefit of the doubt. You never know. Shit happens. He could have just been in his truck looking for something and he bumped the horn a couple times. He could have been a GTA character doinking a prostitute in what he believed to be a secluded area until us, the randomly generated pedestrians, walked by to interrupt the pixelated sex sequence. Whatever the case, we ignored it. Then this man starts his fucking truck and starts creeping. And he pulls up next to us while we're still walking and he says, "What are y'all doing in my yard?" Uncle Ruckus voice having ass nigga. This man must have some kind of discrepancy with young people or interracial friendships because we were nowhere near his yard. I looked at him and I said, "I'm not supposed to talk to strangers." And I walked off. Brandon followed, but when I looked back, Andy was still talking to the dude. I called out to him and he tried to catch up. My old buddy still had his grievances and started following us in his truck, asking the same question over and over again. And I looked at him and I said, "Dude, you seriously need to fuck off." And he lost his shit. Oh, what did you just say to me? Hold on, I'm putting you on video. What did you just say to me? Jesus, every time someone asks me to repeat myself, it's like they expect me not to. I once told a teacher by the name of Coach Turner, yeah, fuck you, Coach Turner. I told him not to be a condescending asshole because, well, he was being a condescending asshole. He's not even my teacher, and he tried to talk down to me while I'm going home from an after-school club. I don't give a fuck what your name is, what your position is, how old you are. Talk to me like a fucking retard and I'm gonna make you feel really stupid for thinking you can get away with it. But old dude's like, "What did you say to me?" And I'm like, "You need to fuck off. Go away." And he's all like, oh, I just got that on video. And he starts asking us what our names are and where we live. Keep in mind, this all occurs while we're still walking. But we all said to him we weren't telling him shit. And he's getting all mad at us, making threats and shit. At one point, he's like, "Oh, you lucky I don't run you down right now." Are you that fucking retarded that you would film yourself threatening a kid? Like, I know I was 19 at the time, but you gotta understand, this man was like 39 years older than me. You think he'd be the bigger person and not threaten someone so young? And even so, two of us were minors at the time. I looked him dead in his fucking eyes and I said, "I fucking dare you. My friends are ready to dial 911. And this dude for real says, "Call the police. I don't care." Oh shit. We got a badass over here. Like, isn't it a little too late to be hitting that phase? You sound like 13-year-old me, which, by the way, was not a delightful person. We get to a stop sign because, like I said, we're still walking. And I'm like, "Let me just take a picture of your license plate because, you know, reference." And he literally fucking stops his truck. This dude is fucking savage. This motherfucker should be running my channel. He would do a much better job of it. Oh wait, he might be too savage for the internet itself. $5 says he has a channel and I'm actually on it. After I took a pic of his license plate, we turned the street corner. I said I was gonna call my dad and explain to him what's going on and he'll handle it. So after I called him, we kept walking down the road. We got to Wesley Street and looked back to see if old buddy was there. No truck. So the three of us had the idea to bolt down the street and see if we could make it to mine before we saw him again. And we did just that. But Andy, being the most athletic of the group, he was out of there first. I swear to God that kid is like an Asian Usain Bolt. However, Brandon and I were not blessed with the same stamina. We made it a few houses down and old dude just guns it around the corner. At that point, I had to stop and take a breather. But the guy didn't stop to talk to us again. He drove past us, stopped at the stop sign, made a left, and kept going. He goes all the way down the street, but in the opposite direction of my house. And he parks perpendicular to the fucking road and starts honking again. So when you look at this picture, it might look like a backwards Swedish flag with words written on it, but it's actually a diagram of the streets and no houses, but that's okay. So right here is my street, and there's the other street. And right here, this little black dot is me, obviously, because I'm black. And this white dot is Brandon, because Brandon is white. But if you look all the way down here, you'll see this old fucker sitting here, perpendicular to the fucking street, blocking all traffic coming this way, and he's just sitting there for no fucking reason. So I just said, fuck it, man. My dad was waiting for me. He could take care of it. We got to my house fairly quick after that because it was the next house on the right. And he was in my front yard getting my dad up to speed on the situation after I hung up with him earlier. Out to the curb and pointed to the madman down the road blasting his horn. My dad said if anything else happened, he'd take care of it. And that was it for a short while. I didn't see any signs of crazy stalker man. The reason for that I later found out is that he was at Brandon's house harassing him and asking him where I lived. Brandon wasn't going to sell me out, but his fucking dad did instead. Way to go, Danny boy, you really know how to fuck things up. Later that night, I'm at the dinner table with my sister telling her about what happened. I told her I was going to call the police and report him. Dumbass didn't know I already had his address. And seconds after I got off the phone with the police, I saw headlights shining through my kitchen window, accompanied with loud ass honking. At this point, I'm literally fighting the urge to go outside and slam his skull in the door of his truck repeatedly. My sister's freaking out. My dad comes out like, what the fuck is going on? My dad ends up having to call the police from his phone, not knowing that I just called just minutes ago. He reported the vehicle and I gave him the license plate. And then my dad went outside to go talk to the guy, and I can actually hear him complaining about me being in his yard, and that is literally all he talked about. You harassed 2 families for this and actively searched for the home of the other kid you didn't get to harass? Are you literally fucking insane? After he left, the police found him and stopped him. Told him, hey, don't do that shit again. And he legit showed the cops video evidence of us walking through an untouched, uncharted piece of land, i.e. his fucking yard. But whatever. After that, we didn't have to deal with him anymore. Thank God I moved. That's it for this story, guys. Remember, if you dig it, hit that like button. If you're feeling dirty, smack that like button. If you want to see more of these lovely pieces of media on the internet, drop me a sub. If you want to start a conversation, hit up the discussion tab on my homepage. And as always, I'm open on all social media, so if you want to add me or follow me, my info is in the description. With that all said, guys, thank you, and stay sexy. I hope I don't end up like that when I'm old. I don't even want to be old, really. The day that I'm back in diapers again means I've lived too long.